everyone, welcome. It's Michelle McLean here with another health coaching skills tutorial. And today we're going to talk all about giving homework to your health coaching clients. So I've been listening in to some other health coaches recently, and I hear them talking about giving homework to clients. I also know that some health coach training programs actually recommend that at the end of the coaching session, you as the coach should give the client a couple of recommendations or suggestions. So if this is you, if you're used to giving homework or recommendations at the end of the coaching session, if you're wondering about this, how to do it, if you should do it, then you're in the right spot, and I'm hopefully going to clarify all of that today. This is definitely a topic that I'm passionate about, that I definitely have some opinions on that I will share with you here today. So I essentially just want to let you know that I'm sharing this from the perspective of a board-certified health coach, sort of looking at coaching from a behavioral change process, as opposed to maybe thinking about coaching from maybe more of a educational process. So that's kind of my approach, where I'm coming from, kind of my foundation around this. So basically, straight up, first thing I want to say right out of the gates is that it is a huge pet peeve of mine when I listen in to coaches and at the end of the session, they're just giving recommendations to their clients, or, when they feel they must give suggestions or homework to their clients. So absolutely, if you were a consultant, if you were a medical expert, a medical professional, a mentor, lots of other professions and professional people do give recommendations and suggestions. But, I want to start off by saying that's not really the coach approach, right? That's not the mindset that we're coming at from a coaching perspective. So when we're doing that, when we're giving recommendations or doling out homework at the end of a client session, that's really coach-centered, right? It's coach-directed. It's you as the coach sort of coming from this place of you know what's best for your client, right? And you're going to give and direct that advice, those recommendations, those suggestions. And so again, just to reiterate, that's not the coach perspective, right? That's not the coaching mindset. Our coaching philosophy is that our clients are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. We come from the place that they know what's best for them. They're the experts in their own lives. They're in the driver's seat, right? These are the terms that we use. Coaching is client-centered, right? It's about them. It's what they want to do and what they want to talk about and what they want to work on. So we let the client lead, we put them in the driver's seat, and we're there to support the process 100% for sure. So that's kind of in its essence the reasons why I'm not a fan of giving homework or recommendations. And I just want to say here that this might just all be semantics, right, in terms of what we're calling it. Is it homework? Is it, suggestions or recommendations at the end of the session? Because what I want to say is absolutely 100%, your client should be leaving the client session with an action plan. So from a sort of true coaching perspective, a behavioral change model, we're looking at action plans, right? That's what we want to phrase it. So they're definitely walking away with something that they should be doing in between the coaching session. So definitely wanted to clarify that. So the other thing that I want to say is when the client develops their action steps, right? When it comes from the client, it's client-led and not directed by you, the coach, the client is going to be much more empowered. They're going to have much more success with their action steps and their action plans because it came from them, right? It's realistic, it's doable, it's aligned with them. Again, when we come from the other perspective that we're giving recommendations or advice or homework, it's coming from this place that I think I know what's best for my client, and that's not true, right? The action steps that I might come up for me might never work for anyone else, right? Everyone is unique. Everyone has what's going to work best for them. So we trust that the client knows, right? They know what's going to be the best action plan, the action steps for them. So yeah, so what do we do? How do we use our coaching skills to support the client in coming up with an action plan? Because what we are doing is, again, making sure that the action steps are coming from the client. And we're doing this by using our own skills, right? Our own competencies as coaches. So we're using our active listening skills. We're using our high mileage questions, right? We're using the behavioral change model, everything that we know about action planning and goal setting to help our clients come up with a plan that's really going to work for them, because we want them to be successful, right? So the other thing that I want to say about this whole process is this is really why clients are coming to us, right? They've probably tried it all on their own. They've DIY'd it, they've watched all the other videos, they've read the books, but they haven't been able to actually make the behavioral change, right? Those sustainable changes that we want them to make throughout their lives. So that's why they're coming to us. They want an action plan. They want action steps. They want tasks to complete. And they want accountability around that. Often we say as coaches is that our clients know what they need to do, but doing it is the hard part. So helping our clients with the doing, a realistic action plan is absolutely a really key and huge part of the coaching process and the value that we're going to bring to our clients. So really, really important. The other thing is that once we help our client develop that action plan, we're also going to talk about accountability to the plan, right? So once your client then becomes accountable to the action plan, of course, they're going to be much more successful at it and be more empowered to take those action steps. So how do we help our clients develop action plans, right? A couple of things that I've already mentioned in terms of the skills that we're using, our active listening skills, our high mileage questions, knowing about a smart goal setting process. Those are all going to come into play when we help our clients develop their action plans. So I have some questions that I want to share with you here, and sort of, any iterations or variations of these questions can really help your client develop that really effective action plan. So I really set aside at least 15 minutes at the end of the coaching session to work through some of this. So my sort of ending and wrap up of the coaching session would include action planning, accountability. It would also then include checking back in with the client about their learnings, and then some acknowledgement for the client at the end, and then any other sort of logistical things that you need to discuss in terms of follow-ups and next sessions and those kinds of things. So you definitely want to leave at least 15 minutes for this sort of moving into that wrap-up phase. So some of the questions and sort of just prompts that I have for you that can help you help your client build an action plan is to really kind of summarize, the processing and the coaching that you did with your client, and then kind of move in. You could, state, okay, we'll move into action planning now. Or, you could simply say something like, based on everything that we talked about here today, what do you think is something that you can commit to, right? And again, as we know as coaches, right, we want to help our clients develop small, manageable, measurable, doable action steps, right? We want them to be smart. So, what's one action step that you can take based on what we talked about today? What's your golden goal? This is a wonderful question that I learned from a mentor, Marilena Minucci. What's your golden goal, right? What's the number one thing, or that one thing that you know that you can commit to? And then if your client does a bunch of other, action steps, those are bonuses, right? It's like the cherry on top of the sundae. But what's the one thing you know for sure you can commit to? You might just even want to just say, what do you think you can commit to between now and our next session, right? Giving a little bit of a time frame around it. And you really want to help your client develop a smart action plan. So if they say, I want to exercise more, okay, great. Let's make that specific. Let's make it measurable. Let's make it attainable, realistic, and timely, right? You want to put all of those parameters around that action step. The other thing that you want to do is ask your client, what supports do they have around accomplishing this action step? So other than you checking in with them next time at your coaching session, who else are they going to rely on? What else are they going to do to make sure that they can get to that action step? That's kind of getting into the accountability a little bit, but important to talk about support systems. The other really key thing to talk about with your action plans are those backup plans, right? So if all conditions are perfect, you're going to do this. But what happens if not all the conditions are perfect, right? What if something comes up? What are you going to do then? What's your plan B, right? What is that contingency plan so that the client doesn't just totally throw the entire action step out the window, right? This is your coaching, right? This is how you're coaching them through the action plan. You're thinking about things that maybe they wouldn't have thought about. You know, maybe they just go away and say, hey, I'm going to exercise twice this week. Okay, great, good luck with that, right? No, we're thinking through all those other elements of this action plan to make sure that it's sort of buttoned down and loophole free, knowing that there's no reason why your client can't be successful in this action step that they're going to commit to. So anticipate, ask your client, anticipate any challenges, obstacles, stumbling blocks that are going to get in the way of you accomplishing this action step. Then you might even just kind of wrap things up by inviting the client to reflect back to you exactly what their action plan is. It's always great to hear it in the client's own words. Okay, you know, based on everything that we just went through, you know, repeat back to me, just tell me exactly what you're going to do this week between now and our next session. And then finally, you could ask a scaling question, which is really wonderful to sort of solidify the commitment to this action step. You know, so on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being high, 1 being low, how committed are you to this action step over the next week? Or, you know, it could even be, how committed are you? Or, you know, what number would you rate this in terms of your level of success? How confident are you that you're going to be successful at achieving this action step? So some variation on a scaling question to really, you know, solidify and lock in that commitment to this action step can be a really, really powerful way to sort of wrap up that action planning segment. So as I said earlier, then once you have the action plan in place, you're going to start talking about accountability. You know, what are you going to do to hold yourself accountable? How can I help you hold you accountable? What other support systems to hold you accountable? How are you going to track? Those kinds of things are really, really important to discuss as well. So it's not enough to just let your client walk away with whatever that action step is, but you want to talk about accountability as well, because accountability really, really key in the coaching process as well, right? It's what our clients need from us. So just to recap, not a big fan of calling it homework or giving recommendations, really just from the place of you as the coach directing your client around homework or recommendations or action steps, but really using the approach of the collaborative partnership approach to this, where you're working on developing the action plan together. The actual action steps come from your client, and then you just facilitate the process so they think about all of those things and really make sure that it's a smart action step that you know they're going to be successful at, because that at the end of the day is really what we want from all of our coaching clients, that they're successful at moving forward toward their goals. So I hope that was helpful for you today. Just maybe a mindset shift for you. It might also just be a little bit of the wording and where you're coming from around it. Yes, the client should leave with an action plan and some action steps, but it should come from them. So I hope that was helpful today. If you have any questions at all, just drop them down in the comments and I'd be happy to answer them. If you're looking for more around how to develop action plans, how to provide accountability for your clients, I teach all of this in my course called Health Coaching Essentials, and my self-study version is available right now. It's an 8-module self-guided course that will help you refresh your core coaching skills. It'll walk you through an entire coaching framework and structure and process, and I give you all the tools you need to deliver that behavioral change process with your health coaching clients. So again, I will drop that link in the comments as well if you're interested, and if you have any questions at all, I'm always here for you. So hope that was helpful today, everyone, and I will see you next time. Take good care. Bye.